Barakata, 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 Yahweh, Barakata Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Shai, Barakata Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, to the Akim Aqua, throughout the four corners of the earth, holding on in sincerity and in truth and diligence of mind to the gospel of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua in these days and times. This is Brother Menashe DC Camp. Another lesson for the hopeful elect, going into the inner workings of Babylon and how they use chaos to enrich themselves. And it's just the pattern of Esau, you know. It's just the pattern of Esau. You know, his name, Shashua, wasted away is he. He comes with the mindset of waste, the mindset of wastefulness, and that's the reason why the world is in shambles, man. The whole world is in waste because of Esau's in rulership, the so-called white man, you know, and that's just the way the Lord has made us to observe and understand that, hey, no man, man. There is no peace when the wicked is in rulership. There is no peace when the wasteful nation is in rulership. And this is the reason why the world is so unstable, all right? So you have Esau in his government structure over there in D.C., all right, the belly of the beast. They're arguing about funding. Arguing about funding for what? They're just delaying. It's one of their delaying tactics, man. You know, they just pretend as if they're opposed to each other, but they're just carrying out the deals that the elites want them to push forward. That's how legislation gets passed, you know? Yeah, so that's how, things get messed up for people at the bottom, man. When things don't get done at the so-called local level, they're waiting on government funding. You know somebody's tying up the money at the top. They're tying the money up at the top. They don't want that money to pass through until they get their agenda on the table. You know, they table their agenda and then get what they want. All these so-called idea of concessions. It's just a hustle, man. It's a hustle game. These senators and congressmen, they're just power brokers for the elites, all right? And they put on one face for the public, the so-called face of democracy, and then they put on a yes sir bus, you know, how much do you need? You know, they always want to give the elite a blank check. So that's just part of the prophecy that we have to deal with. And yeah, it talks about Senate Republicans block Ukraine-Israel aid bill. Yeah, so I guess they let the Republicans take the hit on this one, to take the blame for being the ones blocking it, but in actuality, they just, hitting the pause button, until they get other things taken care of, they have other agendas to handle, so they might as well delay this, all right? So enough of all the rambling, and I read a quick precept, man, because these senators and congressmen, they like to stay wealthy, man. They like wealth. They like riches, man. They like popularity. They like people calling them senator, congressman, all that stuff, So, it just helps you to remember, how you keep yourself grounded and protected, so you don't fall into the traps of Esau's rulership, all right? So Proverbs chapter 15 verse 16, it says, better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith, okay? So the lack of satisfaction, the lack of contentment has been proven to be detrimental to the world under Esau's rulership, all right? So when the man of the Lord understands that he has to put a limit on his tilt, on his let me not say tilt, on his focus to generate income and all that stuff. Always hustle. That's not the proper mindset. It has to be balanced, okay? It has to be a balanced mindset. And you have to learn how to manage manage your appetite, so you don't get carried away with your lusts. Okay. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 16. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Okay. So a lot of our people that became rich in this world, man, they're constantly on the edge because they don't really know what they're gonna do if they go bankrupt, and everything they have is just gonna start being seized. Sleepless nights, high blood pressure, depression, drinking themselves into stupor. So it just shows you, man, you gotta be careful. You gotta be properly grounded in the word of the Lord. That's the ultimate protection. All right, that's the ultimate cure to sudden loss of wealth. It helps you to handle your finances, but at the same time, when there's a loss, you still know how to control yourself. All right, that's why the fear of the Lord is important. So all this funding they want to put in the bill to pass on to Ukraine and Israel and all that stuff is just money that has to go to the so-called defense contractors, manufacturers of arms and whatever supplies, man. That's how they get that money. They have to push the senators to pass legislation. They have that K Street lobbyists to do all that stuff. Well, you already know. I'm just, doing a quick recap. So I'll play this news clip, and then you get some more precepts.
Republican senators blocked a White House request for more than $100 billion in emergency aid, primarily for Ukraine and Israel. There's money in that bill for the border, but conservatives are demanding big policy changes. CBS's Nancy Cordes is at the White House. All right, Nancy, so what is it that the Republicans want?
Nora, what they want are sweeping concessions on immigration policy. But the president had some harsh words for them here today. He said Ukraine is...
And one thing is this meeting that they had was a closed door meeting, all right? So whatever they're saying up front and whatever they're saying in the closed door session, you can't you can't go with the flow, man. They're very duplicitous, all right? So they say one thing in the public, and then behind closed doors, they pretend as if, that everything is difficult. They're just playing games, man. They make everything, whatever is so easy to do, they make it look as if it's difficult. And whatever is difficult, they just make it look easy. They always have like this magic wand of last minute funding, So that's what they do. Eventually they're going to have to push that bill through committee and whatever they want to do. And then they vote on it. That's how the lobbyists work, and yeah, you just deal with it, man. Because when there's money to be made, man, these fuckers don't care if people die or not. They just want the money to go through. They just say, well, the insurance company will take care of it. That's their mindset.
Going to lose its fight against Russia without more American help soon. And he said the failure to provide that assistance before the holidays would be the best gift that Russian President Vladimir Putin could get.
And you see, they just dropped that one in there. Ukraine, basically lost the war, man. So all this money that they're pushing in there is just more money for those corporations against 2024. They got to move that money back into BlackRock. That's how it is, man. You throw the money into the pipeline and the money flows where it's supposed to flow. They already have the valves ready. They have the big valves, they have the small valves, they have all the pumps and all that stuff, So eventually, hey, whoever has a small sink, might get a little bit out of it, So yeah, that's why I call financial plumbing. They have to make that money flow go. And in other words, follow the money. That's all it is. So they talk about military, economic, and humanitarian aid for Ukraine. Yeah, well, they shouldn't have started the war to begin with. And that's what they do. They start chaos so they could move the money. So you can imagine the amount of money they've spent so far, and they still have to give aid to the land of Israel. All right? So it's chaos, man. There's money in chaos. It's a hustle in chaos. If the market goes up, you make money. The market goes down, you make money. I make shekels too. I just got to be better at capturing those shekels in the market, man, because you can't be a hypocrite, and just downplay the opportunities the Lord has given you, and at the same time you are raising a middle finger to the tyrants of this world. The Lord given opportunity to get the shekels off the market, you do it. That's just how the Lord has set it up. All right. So I get another precept. Just make this brief. Sometimes these lessons, man, there's so much to be said, but just bring out the scriptures. All right. So Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 5. All right, says, "By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic has thou increased thy riches." All right. So this is how the empire of Esau has been able to sustain itself through conquests of the world, conquest of resources. All right. Ezekiel 28 and 5, "By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches." So he puts in so much resources to do research on how we can get resources from different parts of the world and how we can have a power over the people. All right. And then it says, "Hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches." So they're liquid, they're flowing. They're flowing in excellence. All right, they're flowing in excellence, and they have all the experts that do the research of how to handle certain environments to get resources, how to manufacture stuff to triple to quadruple the value, at what price point they want to put it on the market, all that stuff. How to create financial instruments, shadow banking, using of all these shell corporations. That's what Esau likes, man. He likes to move money into the dark places that people don't think of, and then he uses his tax collection agencies to keep the people in check, and to also help these banks and all these big corporations leverage that money. All right, and then we go to verse 16, Ezekiel 28 and 16. All right, it says, "Thine heart." In fact, let's start from verse 16, Ezekiel 28 and 16. "By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence. By the multitude of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence." All right, so you see that violence. See the tank in the back right there. Who knows what type of tank that is? Whether it's a howitzer, whether it's a Bradley, who knows? But that stuff is not cheap, man. So you can imagine $61 billion they have to put on the table to have those tanks and all those laser-guided missiles, body armor, ammunition, what else? Fighter jets, helicopters. Who knows? Who knows how much military hardware they have to put on the books. So that's the reason why the scripture talks about that, man. Ezekiel 28 and 16, "By the multitude of thy merchandise they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned." All right, so it's a sin that Esau has committed because he has gone against the will of the Lord in violating the laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, murder, thievery, idolatry, you name it, man. Desecration of the Holy Land and all that stuff. All right. So therefore, I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of Yahweh, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. All right. So it's chaotic, man. A chaotic environment can only be, put back in order by one who understands chaos perfectly, and that is the Lord. So the Lord has to take away the agents of chaos, man, and bring about the agents of order. All right. So that's the elect. That's the elect following the Lord of Mashiach Yahushai. All right. So I'll play this news clip some more, man, because this aid to Ukraine and Israel is big boss, man. It's big bucks.
Here's the issue. Many Republicans in Congress actually support the $61 billion the White House is seeking for Ukraine. But they're vowing to vote against it until they secure those sweeping changes to U.S. border policy in.
You see that? They have no problems with the 61 billion going over there to Ukraine. But they got problems with the border. See that? See, they don't have no problems. So you see, they're all about the money. See that? They're all about the money. Rather than stabilize the so-called South American, Central American countries to prevent them from rushing up here to Babylon, even though that's part of prophecy, they rather send that money overseas. Instead of stabilizing their backyard, they're having instability come to their door front. So that shows you how jacked up and messed up their rationale is, man. So, and then you're going to start hearing about all these government agents getting hijacked, man. Getting carjacked, whatever they want to call them, man. So it's just part of the chaos, part of the chaos. So many people losing their lives to all these robbers, man. Rather than fix the problems here at home, they rather throw money somewhere else, And then you have all these folks out there on the streets, gathering around in parks, And now you see more Jakes, of Northern Kingdom on scooters. Jakes around here of Northern Kingdom don't really ride scooter like that, but the ones that I've seen on scooter, these are the ones, man. From South America, Central America, that ride scooters a lot. Yeah, they coming, man. So whether it's DC, Maryland, Virginia, yeah, it's just part of the idea. And you have New York, Chicago. So expect to see more Northern Kingdom Jakes, man, on those scooters, man. That's what they used to move around in their country. In DMV here, you don't really need a license to get a scooter, to ride a scooter. Yeah, man, you don't need no documentation to ride a scooter all over the streets in DC, man. So it's just part of the journey. And yeah, man, they're hustling, man. They just come up here to hustle, but at the same time, they're curating so much chaos, man. So it's just what the Lord has decided is going to happen. And he just wants us to know that this Esau, man, is just about chaos. Always about waste. All right. Let's talk about pork and barrel spending, wasteful spending. That's Esau for you. All right. So Psalms chapter 39, verse 6. Surely every man walketh in a vain shew. Surely they are disquieted in vain. In other words, whatever they want to be about, their agenda is always about vanity, man. They're never about anything solid to bring about positive vibration, positive influence. All right, they're always about tightening up the noose around the people's necks. All right, he heapeth up riches and knoweth not who shall gather them. So that's all they care about, man. Just building up their coffers. All right, yeah. So they're basically bagmen for the elites, man. See, they have no problems. They have no problems with the $61 billion going overseas to Ukraine to help them in their so-called fights. Do you know what $61 billion could do for those South American countries? That stuff can stabilize their economy 1,000 times over, man. All right, and still have a surplus, but they rather send it into the bottomless pit. That's what Esau's all about, man. It's always about sending money to the bottomless pit. So it's all spiritual, man. You can't be frustrated about what Esau is doing. It's just the Lord telling us a story. So you just got to watch his actors on the stage, okay? So let's see what else we can get. We'll look at the book of Habakkuk. Habakkuk chapter 2 and 5. It says, yeah, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man, neither keep it at home. So you see, all that is tied to this bill, man. Him always pushing his agenda over there around the world, man. Okay, so he can't keep at home. He's always stirring up strife. He has military bases all over key locations on the earth, man, across all the continents. All right. Then it says what? Who enlargeth his desire as hell? So it's always in control, man. Always looking for resources in people's regions, all right, people's localities. All right. Yeah, whatever he desires, man. It's like you can't have enough, and it's as death and cannot be satisfied. So they want more, 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 more. They have no limit to their desire. There is no limit to their conquest, man. They want to conquer the earth, now they want to go to outer space, all right? But gathereth unto him all nations, and that's exactly why he has to open up those borders to use our people and the heathen also as pawns, So they use this they use immigration as an excuse to hold up a funding bill, but it's not really an excuse, man. It's just what you call showboating, showboating for their so-called constituents that they want to be in the dark, all right? And heap it unto him all people. So when you have all these people coming in across the border, they're going to come with children. They're going to have children here. They're going to need resources. Yeah, so the children got to go to school, they got to go to eat, they got to go to the hospitals and all that stuff. They got to use public transportation, all right? So they're going to apply for jobs too. So you know what that is. This business is going to have to, look at their bottom line, man. So that's going to drive wages down, all right? And now they talk about unemployment rates. Went up. Unemployment rates improved. So, what else, man? I mean, what else do you think they're trying to do? So that's just news, That's just news. But on the bottom line, they're basically subverting, undermining the progress of the people, So it's going to be more headache. You see, people are getting more jobs, but then you're flushing the so-called migrants into the system. They're busting them in, whether it's from Texas. Say, you can't have them here in Texas. You send them to DC, send them to New York. Let's see what it feels like, man, dude. You know how the game plays, man. All these, New World Order agenda, man, is just a headache, for people that don't know what's going on. But eventually, the man of the Lord will always prepare and understand what's happening. And we're not going to lose our minds, man, because it's important that these things take place. It's all part of prophecy, all right? Yeah, just like Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. So this is just part of prophecy, man. So they're going to have to do their grandstanding and to deceive the people, man. The serpent has to deceive the people to make them believe that he's taking care of business, looking after their interests, but in actuality, he's not. And when the people begin to wake up, the serpent gets upset and angry, always want to attack the people, violate their so-called rights and all that stuff, and sovereignties. Yeah, so you know how bitter that is, man. So when you have someone that's addicted to chaos, the person is just going to bring about bitterness on a daily basis, man. And you have to balance it out, man. You're going to get bitterness in this world, so you balance it out with the righteousness of the Lord, the comfort of the Lord, right? Just like the Zuquan Zion Allah made a lesson about we being spiritual psychiatrists. Yeah, you have to learn to manage your mind, man. Manage your mind, with the word of the Lord. Apply the medication that the Lord has given you, which is His words, to keep your mind stable, man. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy time. The fear of the Lord is His treasure, is our treasure, all right? So that's exactly what we're all leaning towards, the fear of the Lord. So the fear of the Lord is going to make us sit up and understand the chaos that's coming. You have pressure from above and pressure from below. So you see our people, man, being used as pawns on the chessboard. All right.
In the face of a record number of migrant crossings this year. Democrats called their plan extreme. So we're now in a situation where past U.S. assistance to Ukraine has all but run out. The White House has promised Ukraine and all of its allies that more help is on the way. And yet now this is all tied up until the two sides can work out something on immigration, an issue that has divided them bitterly, Nora, for decades now.
Yeah, right. Divided them for decades. Yeah, so all they do is just want to hit the pause button and make it look as if they're getting something done. But in actuality, they just putting it out there, just like, empty words, saying something without doing nothing. Yeah, so that's what it is. And let's see what they're going to do. Let's see what happens when they decide to pass this bill. Let's see what else happens before that, right? Something else of a different magnitude. So it's all part of the agenda. You have to be careful, be circumspect, and pay attention. So look at the book of 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 or 17. It says, "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him." So the love of the world is what causes chaos, man. Causes chaos. That's why Esau is always about using the chaos to control the people. So we look at this clip real quick, this note. So this from the website Secret. A lot of people use it, but it's not as popular as some people, would like it to be. So they always go around getting a FOIA request submitted so they could have access to public records. So it says, in some ways, lawmakers' finances look a lot like those of many Americans. They include diverse portfolios of stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and real estate. They have bank accounts, credit cards, and mortgages. The difference, politicians generally have more money, must make their investments public, and routinely have access, all right, to non-public information, all right? So they get access to the goodies, man. Classified information, insider trading. They have access to all that. They have folks that help them manage their finances, man. They have a team of lobbyists that look out for their pockets, that look out for their treasure chests. All this money that they raise for their campaign, war chest, their campaign donations, and all that stuff. It's all part of it. All right. So it says, in this section, explore what lawmakers reported in financial disclosures through 2018. So this is from years ago, which we used to estimate their net worth, learn about our methodology and why these reports matter. Yeah, so, you're just doing this lesson to make sure that you understand that these folks, man, they're always about the bag, man. We're not trying to be pocket watchers, but it's just good to know that, hey, these so-called senators and congressmen, man, they're living good, man. They're living good. So below are the top 10 richest members of the House and Senate. Collectively, their accounts, right? Collectively, they account for almost half of the entire net worth of Congress. See this one. Democrat from Virginia, Mr. Warner, 214 million. Yeah, suckers have been in there for a long time, man. See that? Republican from Montana. All right. Democrats always talking about, we care about democracy, we care about the people, but you're sitting on $214 million, man. So you see they're living good, man. You could look at all the legislation they voted for. There's a website called GovTrack, Govt, track, track.us. You can Google it and see what type of legislation they voted for. Yeah, you don't get this type of money without going along with the big boys, man. Look at that. It's what we call big boy Big boy money movers, man. They move the money the way it's supposed to go. See that? Republican from Montana, Republican from Michigan, Republican from Florida. All right. So now you know how to get a cut of all that 61 billion dollars that's going to Ukraine. And look at this one, Republican from New York, $154 million. So you know it's got to be, tied in with Wall Street. You know, Democrat from Virginia, all that stuff. You know, it's going to be tied in with the Pentagon and all that stuff. Pentagon, Wall Street, whatever you want to call them, man. All right. California, Pelosi, 114 million, former Speaker of the House. All right, this one already passed away, Feinstein. Rolling in money too. Look at them. Millions and millions and millions. So they're living good, man. Now, looking at the brokest members of Congress. Yeah, so this is how Jake likes to play games, man. $7 million, in debt. So you can imagine what else he is going to be willing to do, man. Yeah, they rather declare loss than pay taxes, man. So that's what it says, man, negative. Who knows, man, this negative 8 million, or whatever you call it, might be 25 million. Because they know how to hide their assets. They have all this financial, trickery that they can use. So look at that. $2 million in debt. But then they still get voted back in. How can you be in debt and still get voted back into Congress? So they don't really care about their debt. They just know that, they just got to keep some money coming in. They already have insurance policies and whatever, investments, all that stuff. All right, they got that dark money pool floating around in their account somewhere. So this is Illinois, Mr. Rush, Mr. Mr. 666, whatever they want to call it, 999. Yeah, Indiana, all right. So you see Jakes, man. Jakes are up in there, the negatives, man. How many Jakes were in the top 10? I don't see any. It's all about Edomites, man. So this is how taxpayers' money, operates, man. So hey, you can't blame the players, man. That's how the Lord set them up. Now look at the ones that came in. They came in at the bottom. Biggest wealth increase from 2008 to 2018. Not all politicians come into office wealthy, but many leave that way. Here are the top 10 winners of the past decades, all right? So you see that average wealth $8,000 from 2018. Look at that. Almost 12,000%. Look at that. California came in with $92,000 net worth. Now $7 million. So you see that 85 grand came in with that. Man. Hey, I can't complain, man. Shit, it's just how the Lord set it up. You just gotta laugh. Hey, so this is how the system works for these people. To get resources, man. All that say, you can't beat them, join them. These are the people, man. Astronomical, man. Astronomical gains, man. You can imagine making this on a yearly basis, man. On a yearly basis. You'll be smiling, man. So that's what happens, man. When America is going down the drain and you have folks like this making substantial profits, it just shows you something is not working somewhere, all right? Yeah. So 1 John 2:15, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. So we gotta be careful, man, that we do not fall into this trap and become puppets for these super elites, to bring about chaos upon the face of the earth. You want to be part of the team, bringing righteousness, all right? Bring forth fruits meet for repentance, all right? So there's nothing righteous about this body of individuals that call themselves senators and congressmen, man, because you got chaos, man. Under their so-called rulership, the world is just crumbling. Chaos and violence, and then they want to send funds to the bottomless pit, you know. Yeah, so they got to fund the machine. They work for the beast. They work for the beast, and the beast must be fed. They have to put the oil in the machine for the beast to get the job done. All right. Yep. So verse 16, 1 John 2 and 16, for all that's in the world, the lust of the eyes, all right, the lust for all that's in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life. It's not of the Father, but it's of the world. So when you're part of the world, man, you have to expect things like that. Even our people that sell out, that become all these so-called celebrities, hey, they're not too far behind from these folks, man. Yeah, so this is what the world has to offer, man, for those that are willing to abandon the way of the Lord. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make sense, man. It doesn't add up unto righteousness. It doesn't add up for salvation. 1 John 2:17, and the world passeth away. All right, so the world of Edom is passing away. So what's the use having all these riches, right? And the lust thereof. But he that doeth the will of the Father abideth forever. So we're looking forward to an eternal salvation, an eternal protection, an eternal focus to keep us from fading into obscurity. All right, we don't want our names to be blotted out of the book of life. We want to be safe from the chaos that the beast is bringing upon the face of the earth. The chaos that the beast is bringing upon the face of the earth is something painful, and we have to learn how to deal with it. That's why we do these lessons. All right. So now we read from the book of Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. All right. So these folks, man, they pass all types of legislations to make people's life difficult. But at the same time, man, hey, if the legislation that they pass benefits you, but at the same time it causes you problems, that's a mess. All right. So you just got to be careful, man. Just like Yahweh Shai talked about, you shall drink poison, but, you're not going to die. That's what it is, man. That's the mindset. You're gonna benefit from their so-called programs, but at the same time, it's also gonna be negative to you. It's gonna have a negative impact. They pass legislation that has a negative impact on you, but at the same time, there's always something in the bill that you benefit from. So that's just what it is, man. Yahweh Shai told us that will happen. So we're not surprised. We're not, upset that these things are happening. We're just glad that we're listening to the Lord. Yeah, so this is what happened, man. This is what this site, opensecrets.org. We follow the money, you make it possible. So they're looking for donation. All right. So it's a non-profit organization. See, they do the stats, and then they plug in the numbers on the chart. Then you see all that stuff. All right. So Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. All right. So this body of individuals, man, they push all type of legislation that the elites want, to force the people to go along with their agenda. All right. And the people get upset, whether it's to further oppress the people and make their life difficult, or just to eliminate people, on the go. So it's just an experience that we have to be aware of, all right? You don't want to be distracted by all this fluff on the news. You want to understand the legislation that they pass, So Isaiah 10 and 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the rights from the poor of my people. You have veterans suffering. They could barely have the care that they need. You have folks that are upset because their social programs are not receiving the funding that they need, So it's just sad, and crime is going to increase. Folks are getting rich, but then crime is increasing. You know, violence is increasing. So it's a correlation, man, between who's in rulership and the level of criminality that you can always take account of. The statistics tell you, when you look at the stats of crime and you understand the rulership, then you know they're all correlated. So that's why a lot of officers are leaving the job, man, because they see the bullshit that's going on. They were working for 5 figures, but then if they put in overtime, they make 6 figures. But then they also have to deal with all the stressful calamities that the elites have pushed into the system. They push all this negative impacting music, and then you have the cops chasing after these little kids with guns and drugs and all that stuff. So it's a lose-lose situation for the cops, man. It's a lose-lose situation. So end of the day, man, hey, they gotta move on. They just commit suicide, and then they go on prescription meds, drug abuse, they beat their wives up, they beat up people, get drunk and all that stuff. Yeah, so they lose it, man, because their foundation is not tied in with righteousness, man. Their foundation is tied in with the plans of the elite, all right? With the plans of the elite. How can you have migrants coming across the border and then you have them outside the police station? Yes, that shows you how destructive these so-called politicians can be, man. And then the police officers are waking up now, so hey, they can't deal with the madness. They might as well just go find something else to do. What else with all the drug money they've taken on the side and all that stuff? Hey, they gotta move on. Okay, so Isaiah 10 and 2, to turn aside the needy from judgment and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their prey and that they may rob the fatherless. So that's what Esau's system is all about. It's always about taking advantage of people. All these scams and all that stuff that they push in the system is just horrible. So many loopholes in Esau's real estate laws, man, that if you're not careful, man, you get yourself tied up with some unscrupulous business transaction, man, that you signed the paper for, So you just gotta be circumspect, man. Get yourself a lawyer that will read over your so-called contract, and you can protect yourself, man. There's a reason why you have real estate lawyers. All right. Yeah, it's very, very important. Understand the laws too. You don't want to be taken for a ride. So the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 5 verse 12 says this: the sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eats little or much. But the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep. All right. So Jake at the bottom, man, is not losing sleep because he knows that, he's done his part. Doesn't really have much. If he gets a little bit overtime here and there, hey, he take it. If he gets a stimulus check, he enjoy it, because he knows he's at the bottom. He's basically living check to check. All right. He knows that his rich is ceiling. But when these folks are at the top, man, they've clawed their way to the top, voted for all type of unrighteous decrees. Do you think they want to be broke? No. Yeah, if they get a call from the bank or text message saying, $10 million has been blocked on their, put on hold in their account. They're going to be calling all the heads and CEOs of all these banks and wondering what's going on, all that stuff. They're going to be calling the Justice Department. Why is there a hold on my account? All that stuff. They're going to be calling these financial government agencies that regulate the banks, calling the Treasury, calling the FBI to see what is going on, all that stuff. Yeah, so, you know what? You just shake your head and move on, man. You don't want to get caught up in the system. with these people, because they'll throw you under the bus in a heartbeat. They smile, they roll up their sleeves and take a picture with you, but then they get in their in their motorcade and they receive that text message and that phone call to come see the plan that they have for next year, according to the elites. So that's just the mess, we want to avoid. We don't want to get tied up, in the world of vanity. You want to be able to protect yourself. You don't want to be caught up in that net. That's why we pray the Lord guide us. So, final precept will be from the book of Sirach. Yes, this lesson was long. I just had to clear that off my mind. Sirach chapter 31, verse 1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. All right. So it's horrible, man. I'll let you know. It's horrible. Yeah, all these so-called senators and all that stuff, they always have their own detail, man. They can afford to pay for it. They can afford to pay for it. They got the money to pay for security detail 24/7. All right. So you know how it is, man. They'll have somebody standing guard at the door, all that stuff, surveillance cameras, dogs, their staff is fully screened and all that stuff. So they always get VIP treatment when they go for all these events. All right. So it's just part of the agenda, man. Folks like this are set up to cause chaos, man, by voting for the deal of the beasts. By voting to go along with the plans of the beast. All right, the beast is upset, the beast is angry, the beast knows it has a short time. So what do you expect his servants to do? They have to appease the beast by voting for the funding. All right, so that's the point there, Akim. That's the point there, Abaratazar. You could find some value in understanding why the senators vote a certain way, and you understand the results that come in. All right. So, Abaratazar, you've been edified by Shema Shai, by Shema Kakadash, with the approval of Yahweh, Shalom.